or internal, but product-facing environments. How do we implement, robotic process automation in our own companies? How do we evaluate blockchain, structures, I call it fabric, within each of our companies in our industry? All that's done through these shared knowledge systems. We have these things called best practice sharing summits that, in essence, once a month or so, someplace on the planet, we've got hundreds of our senior executives gathering, teaching, training, and learning. Okay, and it might be 3-day seminar, 4-day seminar, maybe 500 of these executives across all of our portfolio companies. They may be talking about go-to-market strategies. They may be talking about implementation of RPA, implementation of AI, whatever it is. And we do that, every year, every month, right? And it's just a question now, how do you, integrate into that, topics that are relevant and important for software? I mean, our world, 10 years ago, we weren't talking about AI. Okay, today in our product development BPSSs, okay, or our CXO sessions, guess what? I mean, that's 1/3 of the conversation in those now, if not 1/2. It's like, hey, okay, and then we can say, here's the solution we implemented at at EagleView or Ping or whatever it might be, the AI solution or RDC or something, and now here's how we're going to implement it on the new company we just bought. You see what I mean? That's the beauty of this ecosystem. And if you don't do that, then you lose that knowledge when you sell that company, as opposed to propagate that knowledge across the existing portfolio and expand it. So that's part of our organizational design and why it's built that way.
That is so brilliant. I mean, that is so brilliant, and it's so. You can't put a price on the meaning and the value of knowledge sharing these days, and especially best practices within such environments, right? If you can learn something here and you can add that to a company over here without them having to do the same mistakes, that is just so valuable.
And I'll tell you, Fred, one of the other things that we've found over these years, because you and I were chatting about, the role of an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And it can be lonely. You're trying to figure out, where you should. One of the things you're trying to figure out is where you should spend your time that day. I mean, that's probably the biggest challenge.
Toughest challenge of the day.
Yeah. What's your highest and best use of that time? Is it calling this customer? If it's working on a product problem? Is it, dealing with an investor? What's your highest and best use? Yeah. And I think the thing that our ecosystem has borne out is we create an environment for senior executives of companies to be a part of. And it is rare that you can get 68 CEOs of software companies in a room that are actually on the same page. Okay, they're not competing because it's the nature of what we own to have shared experiences, create true lasting relationships. And I'm not just talking about holiday card relationships. I'm talking about relationships of how did you actually go to market in Japan with that particular product? What were the steps that you all took, and how did our VCG Vista Consulting Group help, and how did the operating MDs help in that context? How did you utilize the One Vista environment to sell some products into these large banks or insurance companies, and how did that work? And wait, I've got some I've got to scale my engineering organization, but the talent pool where I have them listed here today isn't rich enough and deep enough, and do I move to this location or another? They can talk to 60 other CEOs and say, here's what my experience has been, and here's how I utilize Vista Consulting Group to make that happen. And that's one of the accelerants of shared knowledge and infrastructure, not to reuse this, that is accelerating in this world of Zoom, because you no longer have to gather, because now we're getting together in these shared environments. I don't want to say Zoom, but in these shared environments. But you have to have the construct of how to make that effective, where that sharing is beneficial to those parties who are engaging in it.
Yeah. And I think, just back to the point you stated first, Robert, was that is probably the one course that I wish I would have had the most in uni, was a course on time management or something like that, because you didn't learn anything about that. I remember I interviewed Jeff Immelt, the former chairman and CEO of General Electric, who took over for Jack Welch back in November. And we spoke about that as well. Like it was the toughest part of his day, right, to sort of plan out. And he would always spend around half an hour on a given Saturday after the following week to sort of reflect on his calendar, to see, have my calendar reflected my most urgent tasks, right?
Right.
Because if that's recruiting, that's your most urgent task, and you don't have enough interviews, your calendar doesn't reflect that, then there's something wrong, right? Or speaking with investors or something like that. And I think that for me, just personally, that little tool have helped me tremendously, at least in my own journey, because I think that is one of the things that I speak with leaders at all levels who are much greater and much more advanced in that sense that I am, Robert. But it's just, I hear that regardless of the level that people are at, that's always the challenge, right? How do you spend your time on the most important things?
Yeah, there's no question. And I think, Frederick, it will never be 100% right. And so I tell a lot of young entrepreneurs who I get a chance to mentor and provide some counsel to, don't be so harsh on yourself, but also to carve out time, throughout the day. I mean, we're all, scheduled every 8 seconds sometimes, to actually just not reflect on what you've done, but what's your instinct tell you that you need to do, and use that as a guide. I call it, I fill my cup up in the morning, and I can say this, with some scripture that helps me think about what's important, and it just, more than anything else, it fills me with some ways that I want to move throughout that day. And so you just need to figure out what that is, what works for you in that context, and not ignore it, and not ignore what your instincts tell you in terms of your where you should spend your time. And sometimes your time, you need to spend it away from the work for a period of time so you can reflect on the work that you're done and the body of work that you're creating. So that's just some insights from my life that happy to share.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the reflection part might be some of the most crucial things, right? Because we've all been sucked up into an everyday day or work or even a month or a week or something like it's just, and all of a sudden when you step outside, you step away from it for just a bit, you can just see that you might not have spent your